If you've ever had this feeling that something was terribly wrong with the world that we live in, but you couldn't figure out just what it was, then you've come to the right place. Secret societies, mystery religions, and the Illuminati have been controlling our reality since the beginning of time. But not anymore, because there is an awakening happening, and you are about to become a part of it. Wake up, because this is a call for an uprising.
This is a call for an uprising. Welcome to today's show. A reminder to those of you who haven't already checked out the website, please consider doing so. It's $2.99 a month. You can share information over there, videos, all sorts of things, ways you can interact with me, other people. So check it out if you haven't already. It's worth it, especially in the event that this channel gets terminated. And I want to thank the patrons before I start. I don't thank you guys enough. It's because of you it keeps my YouTube channel running. So thank you so much. Now, this is a pretty interesting. There's a few cuts here from our good old friend Dr. F, who continues to almost put his foot in his mouth, just like originally when we heard, I don't know if anyone remembers, but he originally told us that wearing masks would have a really bad effect on the spread of this, and then of course backtracked a month later and said that everybody should be wearing one, it should be mandatory. You would think somebody in his position would know what they're talking about right out of the gate, but of course not, because all they continue to do is step on their own words, step on their own toes, and backtrack in everything they say. Listen, let me start with this clip. This is in regards to how they're worried about how 1/3 of the people will refuse to take the shot when it comes out. And of course, this will cause the spread of the outbreak to continue, because there'll still be people who are carriers walking around, and it's not going to have a 100% success rate. Of course not. Why would it have a 100% success rate? It'll probably have a 50% success rate like the flu shot, which means it's worthless and useless, even though there is nothing to get a shot from because nothing's going on anyway in the first place. But listen to what he says, and then listen to what he says. It's very interesting, because it's what I've been talking about all along about influencers and how they're going to have to use influencers to convince the public to get the shot.
As a CNN poll and other polls have shown that in this neighborhood, about 1/3 of Americans are not going to get the vaccine. They say they're not going to get it, even if it's free and easy to get, or that they're very, very hesitant to get it. If only, say, 75% of Americans are willing to get the vaccine, and it's only, say, I think you just said 75% effective, is that going to get us to herd immunity?
Unlikely, and that's one of the reasons why we have to make sure we engage the community as we're doing now, to get community people to help us, for people to understand that we are doing everything we can to show that it's safe and that it's effective, and it's for the good of them as individuals and in society to take the vaccine. So we have a lot of work to do, because as you well know, we've spoken about this intensively in the past, there is a general anti-science, anti-authority, anti-vaccine feeling among some people in this country, an alarmingly large percentage of people, relatively speaking.
I mean, you just have to go on Facebook. There's so many, and those groups have really penetrated social media. How are you and other members of the public health world going to get in there and counteract what they've created? All of these lies they've created over the years, how are you going to undo that?
It's not going to be easy, Elizabeth. Anyone thinks it'll be easy is not facing reality. It's going to be very difficult. It's going to require hard work, public messaging by people who they trust. You know, they may not like a government person in a suit like me telling them, even though I will tell them. They really need to see people that they can relate to in the community, you know, sports figures, community heroes, people that they look up to.
And so are we working on that kind of a campaign?
Oh, absolutely. We have a program right now that's going to be extensive in reaching out to the community.
Oh, isn't that a form of mind control? Boy, using celebrities, and they've already started a program with athletes, famous people and influencers, because they're going to need to use them to convince the public that it's okay and they need to get the shot. because they trust in these people. Now, why anybody trusts in these people who they don't even know? They're like, oh, I trust what Leo DiCaprio says because I loved Titanic. Huh? So if Leo DiCaprio tells me I should get a shot and I don't know what it is, but put it in my body, I will. And that's exactly why, since I've started my channel, I've continued to cover these people, because they're not just influencers and influencing people with satanic symbols and all that stuff. They're influencing people's behavior. They're influencing why kids, they see these music videos and they act the way they act, and they're so dumbed down, because of these people like 66.9 or whoever these guys are with, looking like complete demons walking around and then just rapping and singing about drugs and singing about, sex and all this other stuff. They're influencers. That's their job. They receive unlimited amounts of money, fame, and all the things that they want here on earth. And in return, their job is to influence people, because like I've said a million times, no one's going to be influenced by Lord Rothschild if he pops up on TV in a suit looking all gangly like a ghoul, telling people to get a shot. Or they bring out the corpse of David Rockefeller. These people aren't going to be able to influence anyone. The celebrities will be the ones, and they're the ones they've been doing it for decades now, but now more than ever, they're relying on them to do these things, to push through agendas, right? Like the Second Amendment, like hate speech. They're the ones who are pushing this and convincing the public that this is what the world needs and taking away our freedoms and our rights. And now they're working on a program to convince everyone that it's safe and we all need to get these shots when they come out. Secondly, we have Fauci talking about how contact tracing isn't working the way it should be. And we need to do a better job at contact tracing. And we also need to blanket, yeah, you heard me correctly, blanket towns with tests and testing.
A few times recently, one of the things that we are considering doing is completely blanketing these communities with tests to get a feel for what the penetrance is in the community of infection. You can do that by a number of ways. You can do pooled testing of large numbers of people together in one shot. You can get community people to get boots on the ground and to go out there and look for the people instead of getting on a phone and doing so-called contact tracing by phone.
So in other words, why don't they just come out and say it? Make testing mandatory. Have a testing center in each town, and you have to go get tested. And no matter what they tell you, whether you have it or not, you could be feeling like $1 million. You could have just run a 5K marathon, going for the test the next day, and they're like, oh, no, you have it. And you go, well, I feel fine. Yeah, but you're a carrier anyway. You now need to go into quarantine or go to the hospital, right? And they wheel you away. That's how ridiculous this whole thing has got. They talk about, oh, there's so many people who don't trust in science. Well, when you tell us ridiculous things over and over and you backtrack on your own words, who is trusting in any of this? I don't care if you're a conspiracy theorist or not. How are you not suspicious at this point? They're like, oh, people aren't following the social distancing. Yeah, they are. The zombies are following it. But in the grocery store, if you get within 5 feet of somebody, they look at you like you just did something to them, like you assaulted them. People walking around with masks, if you walk around without one on, they condemn you. Get your mask, put your mask on. Can't come in the store without your mask. Oh, but it's spreading, it's spiking. Just wait till the 4th of July. The 4th of July is going to be hilarious because they're going to come out and they're going to say it's gone up even more, way, way more, because people ignored the orders of social distancing on the 4th of July. They were barbecuing with their friends, and now everybody's sicker and it's spreading worldwide, or nationwide, I should say. This is out of hand and out of control. And the fact that they're openly telling you by the end of the year, by the beginning of next year, that there's going to be 1 billion shots available for people, and that they're worried that people like me and you aren't going to take the shots, and that there might be people who listen to YouTubers like me and listen, who aren't even really awake and just go, yeah, you know what? I don't want to do that. So they're going to roll out LeBron James and they're going to roll out Kim Kardashian. And they're going to roll out Obama. And all of these influencers they can find are going to pop up on every show, every commercial, all over YouTube, and it's going to be promoted. And they'll give it fake million thumbs ups versus thumbs downs because they don't want to see the real statistics. And YouTube will continue to block and ban channels like mine for having an opposite opinion. They're like, oh, it's harmful. Harmful? Why is it harmful? These guys openly admit that the percentage of these shots don't even work. He's hoping for a 70% success rate. That's a pretty big gap. They admit that the flu shot's under 50% success rate. So why would anyone take it? Under 50%. You know how bad of a percentage that is? That's like flipping a coin and having heads and tails and somehow losing. Or playing playing roulette and having money on black, red, and green and somehow losing. You go, huh? Wait a minute. It's an utter joke. The celebrities are going to be used as they always are. The people are always going to buy into it. And that's why I've continued to talk about these low-life Satanists who are talentless, who would be the biggest dorks in the world if they weren't promoted by the media. Their faces are half fake. I mean, half these women who pop up, they have so much, they stick needles, their lips are like the size of a fish. You know, their cheeks look like, you look at them and you're just like, they look like they're Rocky Balboa at the end of Rocky IV. They're going, oh, these are beautiful. These people are all sick in the head. They're all doing Satan's work. And they're all going to continue to try to influence the sleeping zombies. And unfortunately, it's working on Generation Z because they don't have a clue. This is exactly what I said they were going to do. And this is the way it is going to happen. I'm going to continue to expose these frauds for what they are. They walk in their own words. They flip-flop in their stories. Nobody calls them out on it in the media. No one in the media talks about human trafficking or anything like that. Just the big stories are always about what? The things they want it to be about. The two right now, which obviously are just ridiculous, the stuff that's going on, which I'm not even going to say the one because it's just an automatic strike. How dare you? Silence is violence. Silence is violence. Apparently they think our voices are violence nowadays because they won't let us speak, but they let everyone else speak. Well, I'm going to continue to speak. So make sure you continue to watch. Check out my website if you haven't. And again, thank you guys who are subscribed. And thank you to the Patrons. It's because of you this channel keeps going. I love you guys. I thank you for being here. Get ready because this summer is going to get even more wild, especially after the 4th of July. Let's see how many more restrictions they put in. They're talking about blanketing states, right? Soon there's going to be, I guarantee you're not going to be able to go into states. They're going to have security checks at every state. And I'll do videos covering that as well in the upcoming days. But thank you guys again for listening. God bless you and your families.